Okay, so to kick off the first game of DGGO number 4, it is MushyMango versus RCrownFlame. Jumping into that in 3, 2, 1. So MushyMango here. We have a pretty extensive ban list on this tournament, so there are no trials. A couple key players or a couple key cards have been deleted. But let's see if this golem spam featuring Faralu here to give the golems an extra bump can get there. There's some lot of ranged options. Or rather, this blast with Saj is pretty incredible because you can deal damage in a column. Versus Voth with a grow plan. We have Endure the Beastlands to create Primal Flourish, which we haven't seen in a while. Which is pretty good with the War Pup, which is like a build your own Mechander War Beast. Here's Faralu, turning Metallurgist into a slightly bigger threat. RCrownFlame's gonna have a pretty strong late game if you can get away with these grow minions. Because Godhammer is giving him an extra +1/+1, and the Huntress is effectively doubling it all. And the Primus Shieldmaster here to draw the aggression, so these artifact pips can stay up. Seems like a pretty strong start for RCrownFlame. Interesting card here in Unmaking, which is a kill spell for your own units. It's not the play though. Psionic Strike helps chip through the Shieldmaster. And then by donating one of these two minions, the other is going to fall back with it. I would have expected any kind of attack on the Godhammer to take a pip off. This Huntress is just huge. MushyMango's got to watch out. That's within striking distance. So, one notable card that is banned from Magmar is Saurian Finality. So RCrown won't be able to have that as a powerful top deck coming up. RCrownFlame has a couple options here with 5 mana. Plasma Storm could catch these minions now while they're low. But dropping 2 minions looks like it's going to be the play instead. Probably a Dilta somewhere forward and the War Pup somewhere back. Oh, or it's time for Primal Flourish right now. So that's actually not bad. With all the buffs, this pup is already a 4/4. And it's going to be a 7/7 by the time you can use it. It's really susceptible to I was gonna say an unsummon or a silence, and here's a Sand Swirl Reader to take care of a single threat. These grow minions are so huge, and your general is so close to them. This is so much. This is a lot of danger. This healer kind of gets you out of some of it, but there needs to be a hard removal, hopefully. This Sand Scroll Reader is perfect, but it's also 1 mana too expensive for the situation. It'll be really good next turn at least. This Warpup, combination of Force Field and Frenzy is pretty incredible. I think it's a free hit. So you kind of need a diagonal position like this, but like from it, so it can't get a double hit in. Running away from it works pretty well too. It's really hard to shake off this Godhammer though. At least next turn it can go down. But it's gotten so much value in with this Huntress. Look at all these grow text triggers. Uh-oh. Lethal is spotted. Well played. The diagonal step actually needed to be a 2-step up to keep distance from the Huntress. Ooh, and just like that, first game was the RCrownFlame. Watch out, MushyMango. We can see that if you were to win, you would get hooked up with Left Hook, but that's going to take 2 more wins. Otherwise, RCrownFlame is running away with our first series. Jumping into that. MushyMango on the back foot. Vanar theme music kicking in. It's time for Kara. This is a pretty cool deck. Sometimes when you're playing a replicant, you're just playing it for the card draw, but other times you're signaling something. The best combo with this is you can get a Metal Tooth 2/2 rush minion, and then you can immediately give it Mark of Solitude, so it's a 5/5 rush. Doesn't fight it though, so gonna have to play a more honest game. Rancor is pretty strong, and the Warpup is here again. It might be worth it to just double hit the Rancor to get it off the table before it gets huge. Oh, uses the buff. So the downside of transforming your minion into a 5/5 is it cannot attack the general, but that's usually fine because you can clear the board with it and it counterattacks just fine. The funny thing is people try to silence this effect all the time, but that just gets rid of the downside while leaving it at a big body. RCrownFlame probably going to want to use his Omniseer to get Primal Flourish on his Warpup, because it's got all these useful keywords. Replicant can just kill the Omniseer though. Kind of funny and tragic. Speaking of which, here's the Wisp. Mana Steal. RCrownFlame is not gonna mind too much, although it's gonna put his Mechander back a turn. Goes for the double mana steal. This Mechander is not coming out. Oh, the crying emote. Warp Up is huge, but as soon as it leaves its spot, it stops growing. Unless you make new spots, but that eats your whole turn to do that. So RCrownFlame is probably gonna charge forward with it and either put a new unit on the Primal Growth or double Godhammer and buff himself. Oh, he's walking in. Maybe it's time for Tiltus. Nope, the lockdown. Deceptibot. If it can kill a minion, it gets a free summon. Which can usually get out of hand, because you can get a copy of it if you cast Echo Deliverant first. RCrownFlame still can't cast this War Beast. Probably is going to want to cast it and then clear the Deceptibot. It seems like the best thing to do. Warp Up comes in the back. Oh, full retreat! I feel like I would... right, the Mechander would have taken another turn. Deal's pretty solid. Oh, here's Metal Tooth. This thing is really good late game still, because you can find a silver and hand off all keywords, and your silver gets rush, so it can act immediately. And then you can start making copies of it, and then you can start reviving it, and then those make copies, and yeah, this deck has some really cool late game stuff going for it. Clearing the Warp Hub. Maybe that needed one more turn on the Primal Flourish. That was a pretty important minion to drop though, yeah. It's gonna be hard to come back from this position. And Gravity Whirl to just eat a whole bunch of turns. Bone Reaper's decent as clearing it. Mechander's pretty good too. And the Tombstone to take out the other one. Because the God Hammer allowed it to attack. So it's actually not so bad. MushyMango. This Frostburn is too tiny. Only does 3 damage. Might be time to drop a Spelljammer for some card draw. Might be time to replace a spell. Oh, finds a Phoenix. Hold up, that would revive all the walls. And the 6... the Echo Deliverant, I think? Or Deceptibot. Makes 2 copies of it, because Echo Deliverant's just hanging out. The token walls don't get revived, but getting 2 copies of Deceptibot. It's so nice. Because the Tombstone's gonna get cleared. And Plasma Storm doesn't work. It's gotta be Rebuke. That would take care of most of this board. RCrownFlame is gonna have to replace to find it. Probably replacing the spell. These are two very nice final cards to have in hand for MushyMango, because they're just what you need to refill, and you can double drop them for 8 mana, and then bump them up for the 9th. Replaces the removal spell, finds an Endure the Beastlands, which is a card you want when you're not behind. So the threat to play around is how to not get your minion destroyed by a Deceptibot. Because they're both just going to tap this Tombstone and get something. And these were both free units that Zerial just came in with, thanks to Echo Deliverance 2 for 1. Okay, goes for the back line. Can't have this Valley Generator just going, which is probably better than trying to take out the Tombstone and getting a double summon anyway. Ooh, Primal Flourish for the Shieldmaster. This thing's gonna be huge. No Huntresses this game though to really go nuts with the Grow. Metal Tooth is a pretty nice one to get, because it can just act immediately, and you usually want to keep it alive in case you find a silver. It's a bee! Really good opening minion, but not what you want now. RCrownFlame is gonna look to do as much as he can with probably a Primal Flourish and a Bone Reaper. Wasn't able to get the Tombstone in the right spot for a pump on it though, so hopefully he can make do with a huge Bone Reaper. The Shieldmaster is getting pretty huge too, but Silver's finally showed up. It's not as impressive when you can't double it, or when it doesn't have any other keywords. More silvers. He's hoping to find Echo Deliverance and other pieces of the combo instead. But it is a 7 power rush that could just be secret damage. Oh, it is time to adhere more Beastlands. I've never seen this many primal growths. This guy's dropping it like creep. Beastclad Hunter is actually invincible to minions once it gets to a certain point, so that's a good payoff for all these tiles. Uses every last card in his action bar. Draws a pretty good one to round it up for next turn though. Mortar Maw means he can just stay here. So now it's up to MushyMango to find a way in. Deceptibot gets a kill, summons another silver. We got Echo Deliverant for a double one. All of them have Rush. Ooh. This attack power is just enough to kill these minions. It's like RCrownFlame needed to fade back on this back row for one more turn. And now it's just Mortar Maw versus a huge board. Pretty nice hands too. Gotta watch out for these Echo Deliverance. They just hand off so much value. RCrownFlame debating whether to replace his one card, which... Okay, that's a really good card to replace into. It's not quite enough though, and he's gonna lose his own buffs. A homeostatic rebuke, though, would flip the game once again. Instead, we got an EMP. Turns off all these nasty keywords and text boxes. Leaves his general pretty close to the action. So this is lethal. Well played. And that's a glimpse at the mech deck when it pops off. Tying up the series. MushyMango wins game number 2. Pretty nice. We're just gonna go right into the decider. Who's going to upper bracket? Who's going to lower? Let's have a look in 3, 2, 1. MushyMango going first again. This time finds Metal Tooth immediately. Doesn't have the other pieces of the early game combo, but Gravity Well is pretty sick early game. RCrownFlame with a Hand of Grow. Has the Rancor, but doesn't have the Priestess, which was the MVP in game 1. Maybe these Wisps were the actual MVP. I don't know. Pretty classic Vanor opener. Just eat all their mana and set up for yours. RCrownFlame gonna probably want to drop a War Pup to help clear these force fields. Probably just above them. Yeah, because then next turn it can clear both of these other two. MushyMango has option of card draw or mana steal. Usually go for mana steal in this situation. As soon as silver shows up, it's gonna have rush. That's not getting replaced. Down to 2 mana. RCrownFlame is not getting an easy start here. Could potentially get some Primal Flourishes going. but his war pup would be exposed if it actually took 2 steps to the left. So maybe a diagonal step is the way to go. Because you don't want it to die to Metal Tooth. Okay, opting to not clear these at all, which is fine, they're not doing anything. Okay, now they're doing something because this natural selection doesn't function. And Metal Tooth would be a good one to snipe with that. Echo Deliverance here. Danger. Which means 14 damage is coming out of this silver, possibly. MushyMango doesn't have much for dispels though, so RCrownFlame can play really defensive and scale out of control. Yeah, this Mortar Maw can one-shot things. So the silvers are probably gonna have to come out now to deal with it. Can silence it. Takes out the Primal Flourish too. Well, no easy way out. RCrownFlame is gonna have to find another way to close the game. This Huntress looks like it. Finally shows up. Might be safer to put down a Shield Master and equip the Godhammer though. Another option is you cast more Endure the Baselands, the top right corner, and then back up. Okay, this looks like a back row Huntress. Yeah, this team is gonna get huge. Probably even a Rancor. Nah. Other option is a Godhammer, which falls off immediately. Well, +1/+1 your team's fine. Well played. Aurora Boros is pretty incredible, especially when you have an Echo Deliverant. Also, check out this hacked technology. If you cast Kinetic Surge first, it makes a copy of it with a Kinetic Surge on it and then applies a Kinetic Surge. So you just get a secret point of buff, which is actually adds gravy to the overkill. So watch out for that. Kara might be the best with Van Armax because of that. Nice! MushyMango takes the series against RCrownFlame, which puts him up against left hook rather. Yeah. So you guys can play out that match whenever you'd like, but I'm gonna post the next match is about data half a day after all these casts are done to give people a chance to catch up on the VODs. And the replays themselves. I'll post also the links so you can see those. But next up, we have Wirox versus venomlovekitties, who are at the very bottom of this graphic together. How fitting. Gonna see some more Vanar action, this time with the buffed Ilyana that can stun and slow things. Versus Safarian, which we can see is the most popular general in this tournament, with 4 decks. Pretty cool. Let's have a look at series number 2 between Wirox and venomlovekitties. Game number 1 looks like this. Oh my god, I love it already. There's just a World Core Golem and Venom's opening hand. Immediately gets replaced. Whoop. You don't see anything. So we can see what he's planning to ramp to with these Crystal Wisps. Has 2 Gravity Wells in the opening hand, so look at this trick. And then you can cast any minion right in their face, or even more walls. Really nice opening. Wirox has some funny transform, or he's going to be fighting against some funny transform options with this aspect of Ego on the other side. But is looking to end the game out with a Golem Swarm. Sirocco can eventually summon so many 3/2s that you can just crush the enemy. I don't know about this quality constraint though, it's pretty good with the general, but in this situation. Oh, good movement here. You don't want to just give the enemy a free mana, so by not attacking the Wisp, the Malicious Wisp can't immediately come down. Probably gonna steal the mana with the Gravity Well, 4 along the top. Gives him a ton of mana to do something else, but no other plays. Okay, saves the mana for himself. This is even better. Seraphim is in here. So venomlovekitties probably will have Call of the Wild for some explosive reactivation, who knows. Or actually, with all these walls, maybe make them all into a copy of target creature. Golem is fantastic at clearing these, or the Guardian rather, because it has Frenzy, so it just attacks everything at once. So Wirox can focus on the top row, and then Guardian clears the center. Doesn't leave anything else to transform into Ghost Seraphim, which looks like they're replaced this turn after summoning a Kron. Goes for a Mana Steal, and immediately turns it into a Mind Warper, which doesn't do anything, because opening Gambit only fires when you summon it. If it did work, you'd get a copy of Equality Constraint and then immediately be able to kill the Portal Guardian, and that would be pretty nuts. Doesn't have any way to put it back into his hand though, so gonna have to rely maybe on the Sworn Sister here to come up with some kind of removal. Oh, there's a Golem counter on Sirocco, check it out. 2 Golems summoned. 3 Golems summoned. And EMP counts as a golem. Wirox can even ramp to it next turn if he wants to with all these backline mana tiles. Celebrant placed here as a blocker, so Guardian can chill for a bit. Seraphim doesn't have any spells, so the play is probably... There's a consistent play of Kron and replace. There's the spicy play of Sworn Sister into whatever she gets. And then there's like the Heart of the Cards play where you replace and find a spell for the Seraphim. Maybe Venomlovekitties will find a fourth option. What? No replaces. Okay. Here's just an 8-9. Which is technically a massive threat because there's no Blood of Air to easily remove it or Sand Swirls to bounce it. Portal Guardian can chip it with a little bit of damage, but it might be better to kill the Mind Warper with it. Quality constraint. No, it's measly 6/6. And it is time. Sirocco number 1. Instantly replaces this turn. Finds the Bone Reaper, which is pretty decent against the 3/2s, but not so great against the rest. Ileana's signature move. You can just put this Guardian on ice. And a Bone Reaper plays kind of far back. I would have expected it. Well, it's doing work there. Wirox doesn't mind though, because does find the Blood of Air. Also, Sirocco number 2 might not be able to be dealt with. And Bone Reaper is really good against it, so that's got to go first. And then here we go. Sirocco the second. And by keeping the Celebrants in the corner, he ensures that the Skyrock Golems can't spawn there. Wirox is gonna need, or Venomlovekitties is gonna need that Vanar spell that does 3 damage to all enemies. That would be the nuts. Might have to settle for casting Hailstone Prison. on this Guardian. Oh no, replace before summoning Kron. The classic. Pandora's here for some top end. Remember, we did see an EMP Golem, or not an EMP, there's a World Core Golem. Although Venom can summon it now. So Coco 2 was, in fact, just too much. Needed Bone Reaper number 2 to deal with that. Wirox taking game number 1. Excellent stuff. Here's another peek at the bracket. You can kind of see where they would all go, but I'm going into game number 2 of Wirox versus venomlovekitties. Best of luck to everybody involved. Uh-oh. So every so often, you get a corrupted replay. That doesn't work. I wonder if we finally found one. Let's see, this prior one works just fine. But game number 2. Uh-oh. We might have to come back to Wirox versus venomlovekitties. Actually, let's view it from the other side. Yeah, let me just grab the replay number, and I'm going to throw this up for 1 minute. Nope, the directory play link also didn't work. We are skipping past in the meanwhile. Okay, well, my apologies everyone. We got a bug report for Hell Dude. So, Wirox versus venomlovekitties is with Wirox at 1 up, but we don't know where that goes. Hopefully we can get a viewable version of that replay, because neither side can be looked at. Let's instead look at the face versus ROHINXO. We can see 0, lowercase o rather, underscore 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 o, rolling with just Brome. Whereas ROHINXO, part of the Sif squad, the backup Riva. Let's see if these replays will work. Going into series number 3, game 1. In 3, 2, 1. Yes, indeed, we do have more duelists. It is Vitruvian versus Lionar. And these are open deck lists, so ROHINXO is going to have to note that those decimates or something that could be in here. And likewise, we have Skarzig. could be summoned for ROHINXO. And if Skarslig ever gets a kill and survives, it turns into a 4/8 that can attack twice and pumps your whole team up. Although it itself is so tiny, it's usually a trick to do that. There's looking to be no minions on this Brome, so gonna be reliant on catching one of these 1/2s that get summoned. Pretty nice trick with the Celebrant to reflect the mana tiles, so it's on his side instead. Probably gonna want this Trigon Obelisk down next turn, but doesn't even need a mana tile for it. Well, the Wizard Bro maneuver stunned the Dream Shaper and equip Regalia. And there's also a Dawn Eye in here, so this Brome could be hitting for 8. Oh, instant Martyrdom. Perfect counter. That thing would have been spitting out 3 Dervishes a turn, which would be perfect for this Ka. Here's the prey for Skarslig, but Skarslig needs a lot more setup and isn't here. This Regalia is pretty nasty. Because even if this Latigrus was summoned, the cub that would come out wouldn't be able to get past it. This cub will be pretty useful in other turns, though. It's time for the Dawn's Eye. Blows the Latigrus up. Doesn't even take damage. And Regalia repaired to full. Really nice suite of equipment just to have these two. Pyromancer will help get through this armor. 8 damage, you can't really mess with it, because you have to full clear that, otherwise it just full repairs. Okay. Only has the Afterblaze for his own unit. Damages it in the Tempest, but wanted the card draw before he cast it. And ROHINXO's in a pretty dangerous spot here. This Brome's just gonna 2-shot him. This Star's Fury doesn't do anything. Okay, it's time to get through no damage. Unless you've got the 3rd pip. It finds more Star's Furies, oh no. That's not great. This Grapnel can only take the Crestfallen. more Dawn's Eyes. And heal the full. Wow, what a absolute stomp. Hey, there is a bracer in here. 1225? ROHINXO getting blown up by our face character, which does have a name. I'm gonna look it up during game number 2, starting now. Okay, on the left side we have Indubitablement. And on the right side, ROHINXO on the backup strat. Lightbender is a way to counter stun. Key Beholder, get some nuking in early. Indubitablement, also known as the Face, has his choice of removals. Tempest seems like a pretty clean way. Gonna see if you can get some more value out of that first, so just stunning this for now. Scroll Bandit pretty nice against Linar. Doing some funny zigzags to make sure that no option for a 5-mana turn. Pumping in the process. And it might be able to steal a Trinity Oath or something, who knows? It's not doing anything. Yeah, the problem ROHINXO's running into with this style is the hand size is still huge for Braum. He's a really good general for grinding through every card in your deck and then still having a full grip. Okay, goes for some interesting positioning. I would have thought the diagonal arrangement would have been better, but it doesn't matter because we got Tempests. Okay, so that's the second Tempest. Phoenix Fire to the face. ROHINXO's got to close it out as fast as he can. Braum is way stronger in late game. And deal 5, heal 5 is gonna kind of ensure he gets there. Bakizori! It's like a Rift Beast. The face. Just has too much removal. Spiral Technique? That's half your life bar. Is it too... Yeah, it's too valuable to replace at this point. Because if a second Spiral showed up, it'd be like abracadabra, I win. If Braum didn't have such crazy healing that was. Back to full. Ugh. Miss Dragon to keep Latiger alive? How is he going to keep himself alive? Dispel a 2x2 for Latiger. Pretty good punish for the teleport strat. Uses the stun on the Heartseeker so it can't be pumped up for some sort of big counterplay. Oh no, replace the Spiral Technique and finds a Warlock. That does them a lot more harm than good. Going for it anyway. Finds the Spiral Technique again. Well played. Not gonna have time to use it though because of the Dawn Eye. ROHINXO has been eliminated 2-0 by the face, and by eliminated I mean just sent to the lower bracket. We'll be able to see more of him later. Congratulations to O_O Indomitable for the nice advance. Pretty clean. Next up we've got a tournament veteran who always gets third. He just gets third every time. It is Agent Cypher 19 versus SzulerShifty. Jumping into this next series in 3, 2, 1. As we can see, it's time for more Brome. This time with more minions. Agent Cypher bringing the lizards with a egg deck. So between Egg Morph and Wild Inceptor, you can get some funny stuff happening. This is a really good style for getting the Steam achievement for killing someone with a World Core Golem. Because you can get an egg of it and then just hatch it. So we haven't seen much of Legion yet, but it's real nice to get early. Because subsequent Legions come with the Legion. Agent Cypher going for the immediate Zoetic Charm. Although, ends up losing a durability on it before getting much value. Fugitive's a really nice one for Brome, because the spellbook of Linar is just so incredible, you might as well get duplicates of it. But the spell to revive doesn't seem like it would be the combo in this deck, because there's so many tiny minions. Like this Ghost Lynx, what is this doing here? Teleport a nearby minion to a random corner? This was one of the things that Helgen had changed. It used to move something one space randomly, so you could set up for Thunderhorn chains or backstabs. Now it's like a repulsor beast. Veteran Silithar is pretty nice when its egg has a force field. So SzulerShifty is going to want to find like a Tempest, take out this Zoetic Charm before going in. Agent Cypher could kill everything with Silithar going in, Lava Slasher taking a bite. Greater Fortitude is incredible when you've got these Rippers because they do 10 damage in one turn. Okay. Just gonna clear these with what he's got. So this Hyperion's Claim is a really good spell to deal with this situation, but it's gonna be a turn 2 late. Oh, Ghost Lynx is actually really good here. It can send probably the Lava Slasher back. And then a Martyrdom on the Chrysalis, maybe? Or on the Ripper Egg. Okay, this works really good too. Puts an Aegis barrier on the Lynx, so it can't be targeted by spells. What? Why? Wouldn't that be better in the hand? Maybe he was enemy AI affecting. Ripper and Silithar are both really nice with this Zoetic charm still going. And so SzulerShifty completely boxed in, can't even drop a minion now. Finds his own force field technology. Goes for the kill that he can. Cantor off the top, yo. So SzulerShifty is gonna need to get a Tempest and another claim. Bloodseer Alchemist would have been an MVP this game. And is it more valuable to just keep the Warbeast here as a wall? Nah, go in for the damage. Even the Circle of Life can't really get him out of this. More Trinity Oaths. Good card when you're not in the corner getting pummeled. Gets the kill that he can get the provoke minion with, but I don't think it even buys him another turn. Well, I guess he gets one more turn. Time to pump up the Mercantor? Nah, just goes in. Ooh. A very forward egg placement, maybe, yeah. With the immediate hatch into pumping that up. So I'm gonna do 14 damage in one turn. Oh, this is the power of the eggs. Congratulations, AC19! Winning the first game of his best of 3. Again, if he were to win, it would be matched against the winner of Skitter vs. Fuzzymoth, which is coming up afterwards. Game number 2, Agent Cypher 19 versus SzulerShifty. Suzu switched it up. We got Safarian here with cool tricks such as Superior Mirage and Synoptic Arbitrage. Gets the Dream Opener with the Metallurgist and the Dreamweaver, gives you a nice board, and your hand just stays maxed. Has some trickiness with Mirror Imp to copy. Dream Shaper might be a good enough one to copy, just got a ton of card draw. And if Agent Cypher had a Metallurgist of his own, would be able to drop it on the mana and then immediately drop a Rage Binder. Probably just gonna drop the Rage Binder by itself. Above or below the mana? Above it, probably. Oh, directly on it. Does that mean it's time for Greater Fortitude on it? Not even. Holds it. The full fade away. Not even going for the mana tiles. Suzu is just gonna backline it. So SzulerShifty is gonna have to cast something to... Yeah. The Herald can at least grab the mana next turn. And there is something going on with this Vitruvian deck. I'm still not sure what he wants to be copying with it. Alright, now the Metallurgist shows up for Cypher. Just eating these mana tiles, not actually spending it. Mana tile. So after weakening a unit like this, it can be taken pretty easily by the Arbitrage. And the Orb Rider's here. Seems kind of like a setup for an Intensify deck. Agent Cypher probably going to want to use his Lava Slasher on the Metallurgist. Or just throw a Lava Lance at it. Eggs would be a pretty nice thing to steal too with these arbitrages. Costs 4 though, and there's not much for opportunities on it this turn. Maybe it's just a Sand Swirl Reader? Blood of Air is a funny way to get around Rebirth. Some immediate regret. This Meddler just went to the wrong square, and now this Dream Shaper can't finish this off. So it retreats in shame. Another Azure Herald without the healing. But if it wasn't cast, then a card would get burned. This action bar has just been loaded. Seems like a crushing wave of lizards coming towards Szuler, though. Six-mana turn rolls around. Grapnel's finally online, but this placement of units is so nice that it's not possible to take more than one. And these units are also small that Blood of Air isn't a good exchange. And this egg is opposite the unit that would get hit by it, so it's protected. This arbitrage doesn't do anything. Superior Mirage would be good against a Mechanter War Beast, but not this board. Maybe it's time for the Sand Swirl Reader. Yeah. And then sit your general on it? No. What? Yeah, I feel one of the easiest ways to get these Sand Swirls to work is you cover them with your general for a turn. It probably would have been a full surround either way, though. And without any good area of effect, looks like this could be it. Blistering Scorn would be pretty nice in this matchup. Instead, Shifty with the 6 of 6 action bar just cannot get his plays out versus Agent Cypher, who's down to the last 2. And Norbrider's here to restock the hand. Well, here's the arbitrage into stealing a Rage Binder and an egg. Funny thing happens when you change ownership of a unit, the bond triggers, so a heal could have been possible if SzulerShifty already had a golem. But doesn't have one, really needed the healing. And really hoped to get some sort of stealing action happening earlier, but Agent Cypher's Lizard deck just way too fast. And a Ryzen. Defeat for SzulerShifty, and congratulations, Agent Cypher 19. You'll be advancing to face the winner of our next series. No, wait. We'll be... Yeah. We got Skitter and Fuzzymoth coming up. And as we can see, Skitter is going to be starting out with Cassie. Versus Fuzzymoth, who's only on Kara. Let's take a look at game number 1. In 3, 2, 1, go. Yep. Interesting. Well, Fuzzymoth on his alias, the Black Knight. Versus Skitter. Playing the role of Skitter. And it looks like a pretty straight up creep deck with Ghost Aziala to get there with some surprise late game damage. Versus some immediate walls. We have an appearance of one of the DGG exclusive new units. We just got Iceblade Binder hanging out. And a pretty nice starting turn of being able to just cast some Blazing Spines. And the Mentor means Cassie gets double pings, or Skitter might just look to cycle those for extra cards. Iceblade Binder with the ice effect over the name of it when it's on the left side of the screen. Snow Chaser's actually not infiltrating right now, so it's pretty vulnerable to getting traded by this Azure Herald. Maybe it's specifically put there as bait, so it doesn't get hit by the Abyssal Scar. Also, with this Iceblade Binder here, Cassie cannot take a step to the mana tile, because that's 2 squares away. Okay, generating 2 creep at once. Kind of enabled by putting down the Snow Chaser. Chromatic Cold on the Mentor. Good thing to silence. Oh, hold up. I didn't see what kind of Sentinel that was. Guessing game has been enabled. It's a free blade. And the Rift Beast for the refill. Although, next turn, all the mana is probably going to Klaxon. Ice Blade Binder the second. I wonder if you can actually shut off movement by stacking them. The way it's worded, sounds like, yeah, you can just freeze things. Doesn't have the abyssal energy to just munch it. Ping Punish is an option, though? Is that better? Ping Punish gives you extra mana for Rift Beast, so maybe it is good. There it is. That Ice Blade was way too big. Leaves a bit of leftover mana for Munch. Okay, activates this afterwards. Ooh, finds an Azure Herald, which is really good at this point. Pretty nice, and Rift Beast is slightly too big to just trade. Well, here's a Draugr that slows everything down. So it's only 1 square steps. Klaxon! And this unit isn't doing anything for another full turn. But check it out. Fuzzymoth came equipped. Form of dog. And another sentinel. Okay, goes for the Draugr while he can. Rift Beast throwing out more cards. Real nice. It was a free blade all along. Although it did swap itself onto spikes. Oof. Blazing Spine's not so great when it's your last card. Completely out of gas. Can at least summon these as a 4/4, probably doing that to trap. Yeah. Although, Skitter can just take 2 steps down. And then an excellent target to ping has appeared. Boom! Now Ghost Azalea is huge. And these walls are placed kind of awkwardly relative to where Kara is, so can't use them as cover. White Asps is here to make some more, but it is slightly too late. Skitter coming in to claim game number 1. The Black Knight, also known as Fuzzymoth. Did not claim that victory. Have to claim the next 2 in a row to stay in it. Otherwise, going down to the lower bracket, and you can kind of see where the numbers will take people. Going into game number 3, through game number 2, coming to you. Starting now, we've got Pretty similar start. Ooh, the Abyssal Crawler is going directly for the mana, and neither of them destroying the mana tile, which is 1 and 8. Hey, it's the same opening as last game. Keeping all the mana tiles open, denying the center tile. Abyssal Noble! One of the cool extra sprites. Although, exposing this bottom crawler to danger is pretty unfortunate. Pass the turn with an extra mana, so just nabbing the top one would have been enough. Because now, this blazing spines here can get a hit in for free. Oh, time for more spines. Interestingly enough, the spine's not trading with the crawler. Would have been a good chance. Ooze is pretty nice against the spines. And the Noble just alive enough. It's been silenced, in fact. So it'll just come in here for a trade, and then probably looking to summon another Noble, get the factory going. Fuzzymoth, the Black Knight's gonna want to find... Oh, there it is! Transform into Pupper. Pretty nice. Finds a pair of Hearth Sisters, so this crawler can get grabbed. Skitter's gonna be happy to get his card draw engine. Probably just drop a Klaxon in the face. Yeah. Because as soon as this thing pops, this Ghost Azalea is gonna hit so hard. It already hands off +10. Okay, so you can kind of move it around. Lightbender turns off. Just that. Didn't want to destroy his Blazing Spine, but in the process wasn't able to hit any creep tiles. There's a lot of targets to clear. Goes for the card draw, goes for the wall. Oh, here we go. Factory in the back. This Abyssal Noble. And I like this formation too. It's hard to get to any of these units. There are some Vanar guessing games in store, potentially. Luminous Charge is a really nice one if you can ping all of them immediately. Oh, speaking of which, completely entangles these units. One of the Sentinels was replaced and the other one was dropped. Well, it was a Basilisk. So this Basilisk is actually kind of a source of a full heal for Cassie. Because you can just munch it, and it gets gigantic, and then you just heal to full. Byssian Noble is able to find a Tormentor, which immediately becomes a doggo. And the finishing touch, so I can't just run away and make more. So that's another noble dealt with. Skitter just needs to close the distance and bonk with his artifacts, though. 2 of them at once would absolutely be it. And Fuzzymoth on an empty hand, essentially. Rift Beats kind of helps with that. Bam! More Ravagers. And hey, the spell doesn't look so bad now. Because when you pump them up, they can attack, and they can detonate on their own. So that's quite the flip. But, as we know, Ghost's Ale is a huge artifact. 26 damage! Black Knight evaporates. Goodbye, Fuzzymoth. We will be seeing more of you in the lower bracket, but Skitter takes this 2-0. Cassie gets there. Yes, indeed. Next up, we have stoicrooster versus kopiuyt. And then after that, our finale, which is going to be some Starhorn special. But in the meanwhile, Stoic, going to be rolling in with a Fault deck, in fact. We'll see if Zerx can get there or if Argion's needed. Versus kopiuyt, who's using some more eggs. Possibly with Secret Kalios. Yeah, let's have a look at stoicrooster versus kopiuyt. Best of 3, going into game number 1. Okay, stoicrooster's here, winner of the second tournament. Kopiuyt basically drew the worst possible straw. He's got a bunch of gauntlet trophies, but he is facing up against a boss level caliber immediately. Best of luck. At least you have 2 lives, so it's not like Stoic is gonna potentially just evaporate you out of the tournament. Because to run into him a second time, it would have to be in the finals, or for Stoic to get knocked down into the lower, and then that would be something. But we'll see if kopiuyt can get there with some Primal Flourish and some Grimrock. Fireblaze Obelisk might be the best Obelisk. Kopiuyt's got his archers. Might look to take a diagonal step back with the Silithar. Put one of these archers back here and then go into the center. Yeah, because from here you can take any mana tile. Gives you the most options. Okay, so this is like one of the worst spots that this could have spawned, because this can't do anything. If it was in any other square, it could at least trade for some damage. SzulerShifty doesn't need luck though, immediately just Blood of Errors. Clears the whole board, thanks to this Fireblaze Obelisk's buff. Pretty sick. Kopiuyt doesn't have a minion to give a Primal Flourish, unless he wants to give an Alchemist a Flourish. That's not great. Mechanters are turned off. Is it a Grimrock turn? This Obelisk cannot be crushed. Could still replace too, but what? Natural selection would be nice. Although whatever happens, stoicrooster's got a second one. Oh, the fade away. Ooh, more unlucky spawns. Can't even get the mana with this. So you don't want to just slash, because that just pumps up the archer. Blood Tear is really nice against the egg. Yeah, this minion's so good. So this Portal Guardian is just too huge to be dealt with, even if these lower tier minions on the bottom got cleared off. Grimrocks need some space. Omniseer might be good with the archer. Yeah, what if the Sworn Avenger just got huge? Because I don't even think the Portal Guardian gets to it in time. Probably places this on the bottom row so it doesn't get hit by the Portal Guardian. Okay, places it above. That does leave it possibly exposed to getting hit. Sworn Avenger is going to be pretty sweet though. It's kind of food for Ka though. Like, Portal Guardian could take a step I guess 2 steps down, and then Ka comes out, cleans up the rest. It wouldn't be able to respond. Well, actually, no, that would work. Yeah. It seems pretty strong. And Fault is showing up too. So stoicrooster has a lot of options. Even more obelisking is decent. Actually, turning the primal growth into ascend is not the play. Probably... Okay. Would have expected Reg to get hit once, and then for Reg to clear this, but this works too. Kopiuyt's best play looks like a Mecanter, and that can't even make use of his Primal Flourish. There's a lot of Grow decks in this tournament. That's the theme. Mecanter War Beast! Gonna need some Earth Spheres or something. Running on 13. Finally gets a decent spawn. stoicrooster gonna be able to get some value out of this dervish. Could it be a Fault turn? It would destroy both the mana tiles. And there isn't a follow-up for it. Sand Swirl Reader's usually great, but Mecanter, you don't want to give that back to your opponent. It'll just full heal it. Slash. So by grabbing the mana with the Wind Dervish and taking face damage, that gives them enough mana to cast both a Fault and a Metallurgist. So these Exhuming Sands immediately get value, and an army shows up. Kopiuyt does have secret technology of being able to replace these sand tiles with primal tiles, but that involves getting there. Oh, another War Beast gets there, or shows up. And as incredible as it is, it doesn't seem like enough. Could a Huntress on a Grow tile be better? The theme of Grow decks seems to be they need these Huntresses out ASAP. Nothing better than Mecanter though. Is at least able to get some value out of this, sort of. I don't think this will grab the buff once it hatches. Some more good spawning out of this obelisk. Could just take out this War Beast. Ka does not have a combo going, but might be fine anyway. Dream Shaper's a dead card. Probably wants to back up and cast Caw. Yeah. And then that goes for the egg. Which puts kopiuyt at an empty board. Needs removal, needs it now. And not just this single target stuff. Because the trick to Caw, as soon as it dies, it takes the spot of any of these dervishes. For example, maybe there are no sweepers in this deck, because kopiuyt isn't replacing to look for them. Maybe he thinks his only out is gets these huntresses down, or gets another Primal Flourish. Oh, now replaces. Oh no. It is definitely over though. Ooh, kopiuyt put up a good fight. Stoicrooster's pretty nasty though, and that deck is gonna take quite a lot of effort to come take down. Maybe this Kalios deck can get there though. Or maybe we're just gonna run back the same deck. Let's have a look at game number 2. Stoic versus kopiuyt. Stoicrooster here with Fault in hand, Kanum Ka in hand, bunch of excellent golems in hand as well. Pretty dreamy start. Kopiuyt is here with turn 1 Astral Crusader. So that might show up later as a 4 cost. Doesn't have a good turn 1 play it wants to do and then draws it. That's unfortunate. Maybe the power of his Mach 2 General skin will get there though. Stoic can set up for Fault pretty easily with all these mana tiles. In fact, next turn, you can just get it. That seems pretty unstoppable to me. The Flame Wreath is going to be really valuable in clearing that. So this could be a decent deck for a counter pick. Check out that cool attack animation. It's not exactly in sync with the sound, but how could it be? Fadeaway double replace? Could this be time? Because the funny thing is, these Golem Metallurgists stack. So this Dream Shaper comes out for free and gives you a hand refill. Okay, Portal Guardian down first instead. Well, it'll be huge as soon as the Fault does show up. And Stoic will be able to activate it with the Blood Tear Alchemist next turn. Kopiuyt's in a pickle. Kron here can generate 2 units. Be real nice to get a broken captive to steal this mana. Suzumi Bachi is some really good burst damage, but putting everything into damaging this Portal Golem isn't enough. Maybe getting a Flame Wreath out is good now, because there's no shortage of ways to activate it, but it doesn't have a great flight path. Might as well cast it anyway. And then this Metallurgist is a pretty necessary kill. Double inner focus in hand, so can really get these flame wreaths flying around. Gonna need it, because here comes Fault. Which means this Portal Guardian is hitting real hard. Definitely nasty stuff. Lightbender would be the perfect card to take care of at least half of these tiles, but instead we've got... You could lure Stoic in with the Zendo. Flame Wreath is really good at clearing stuff. This Portal Guardian is definitely the biggest threat immediately. But to deal with it, you would have to slash it. Because this Flame Wreath can only do 2 damage to everything twice. Doesn't even hit the Portal Guardian with it. Gonna have to actually trade it in. Well, that does decimate this board of Stoic, but with this Ka in hand, and a Ka backup, and incredible support cards, and even more healing, Stoic has just got the incredible Sand Fortress. And finds lethal with the Flying Haste to finish it off. My apologies, Kopiuyt on the brackets. You definitely got paired against the boss monster. It got crushed 2-0. Ooh. Congratulations, Stoic. Also, extreme danger for the winner of our next series, who is going to be meeting Stoic. Yes, indeed. To finish things off, I'll be playing a funny Starhorn deck. I like throwing some comedy in my tournament decks. And then if that fails, I've got a more serious Lilith deck that that Left Hook actually came up with. Gonna be some cool stuff there. I am facing the Massive Avocado. True to his name, he's playing a Massive Avocado General. So it is gonna be some green versus green. Alright, 3, 2, 1, GLHF. Check it out. So Voth here has the signature ability of pumping himself up. We can see that Massive Avocado has the spell to give a minion +8/+8. How's that for a grow? We've been seeing +2s up till now, pretty much. Me on the other hand, I am playing the deck deleter. Memovore here is it goes for the deck, so they can't even draw cards anymore. Once that happens, they start taking fatigue damage. And the rest of it is just board clear and board presence. I don't think I have silences though, so give a minion +8/+8 is kind of unreasonable. So this battle pet just got amplified for +2/+4. Here's another one. We got the some passive movements too, the single step forward and to let the pets do it. This is kind of reminiscent of the old AI that would just not move and summon a bunch of pets and pump them up. Myself, I've got a 9-cost creature, which I hope to not play legitimately. Can cheat it out. So one thing that's going for me is this +8/+8 would be castable next turn, but the only targets for it are these uncontrollable creatures. So you can usually kite battle pets and get them to stall out instead of just going for your general. And there's even a third grow. There is a lot of Magmar grow this time around. I'm doing some serious calculations now that I've got the center tile. I do love this opening of Metallurgist into Ragebinder, because if this Ragebinder dies and rebirths, I get healed. Which looks like it's going to happen real soon, because these grows are coming in and they're just so huge. Even before the spell was cast. Rebirth is a really good mechanic to mess with the pets though, because they can't coordinate finishing it off. But this Oroposaur is going to make sure that everything is just huge, huge. Lava Slasher shows up pretty much just on time. So Gargantuan growth is going to be pretty incredible if it gets propped early with this Oroposaur. I immediately come in with the Golem, and then I am taking a huge time to figure out my turn. Maybe I wasn't so sure about that. Because now I notice that this Lava Slasher is also a good way to take out this Grow. Yeah. Might as well take out the one grower, the one that he can control. And then space my units out. Massive Avocado with the Quill Beast could potentially catch the egg. So you could cast a Grow somewhere and then Cast Gargantuan Growth. Decent turn for amplification too. Oh, grow in the back line. And then an Earthwalker. So much grow. Oh, I found my card. Evolutionary Apex lets me cheat all minions into play. So a funny thing happens when I cast that and I have these Memovores, where they immediately proc several times. So if I can arrange the perfect hand that contains a couple of these, then I can just one-shot delete the deck. If I don't die to rush down of the growing proportion sort. This Earthwalker is in a nice spot for me to finish off with the Lava Slasher. And even the Rage Binder can finally take out this grow. I had to hit it a couple times, but it gets there. And I actually have the mana now. It's not exactly the hand that I want to cheat out, because it's also going to put these two Grimrocks into play, which immediately grow. So I'm probably going to want to buy a turn, replace this Alchemist. And get real cozy with this pet. Bloodseer Alchemist in its face might be decent. Or just Lava Slash. He never replaced this +8/+8. Someday he's gonna find the perfect target for it. Perfect target probably being Warpup. Or something with flying. Oh, here it is! This grow is now incredibly powerful. Every turn it gets +9/+9? I do have Rebuke here that at least takes out things that have scaled out of proportion. Rebuke! Cool creature. Luckily for me it had square stats. Maybe someday we'll see something grow +8/+8. Looks like Avocado here. Probably going to drop a crater to ping everything? Well, maybe not now. Replace it? No. Just the one Grimrock. Which has been buffed in DGG, I think, from 3/4 to 3/5. Or maybe it's the Earthwalker that got the +1. Oh, I have 2 of these now. Memovores. Okay, so I have 28 cards in my deck. My opponent has 27 cards in theirs. If I fade away, Evolutionary Apex. Everything is summoned. These things trigger 6 times. My opponent's deck is now in the activity feed for burned cards. And they have 2 cards in deck. So replacing is going to find them, and then it stops functioning real fast. So his whole board now is we got some Grimrocks for some grow. And he does actually have a spell here that's really good. Maybe this crater gets it? Something is growing. It's probably a better idea than getting rid of that. Well, alright, the backline has it. So craters 10-10 next turn. I don't have grow myself, but I do have force field. Spelljammer. Also, Seeking Eye. The reason I'm playing Starhorn is I can force both players to draw a card. He can't do that anymore. And Spelljammer even exacerbates the issue. No cards in deck. One card in hand, and it's a low impact one. We did get to see the +8/+8 grow, but it's actually not enough. Because at this point I just run back and keep using my ability. And I've got another Apex. Can even get an extra card out of this Rift Beast before doing it. Well, my hand wasn't already maxed. But no, I might as well just cast the Mechanter legitimately and get the lethal now. Yeah, the power of deleting the opponent's deck. We'll see how many funny matchups this deck has. In fact, let's have another look at me versus MASSIVEAVECADO. That's right, this final series isn't done yet. I'm up 1-0. Let's see if I can delete another deck. I've got Gargantuan Growth again in hand. And a Juggernaut as some top end. Doesn't find a 1-drop or a 2-drop though. Doesn't equip Godhammer or replace to find one, so I'm gonna be able to get a quicker start. The usual counterplay to this opening is you take 2 steps forward and you put something on their mana spring. We were seeing Left Hook play around that by destroying the center mana tile just by putting a minion there instead. Propulsor, place just out of reach. Might as well go for a slash. And I can finish off with this. Lava Slash are so strong. This Juggernaut should have been replaced, because you don't want to be holding on to cards that are dead for so long. And your high value minions usually want to backline them so they get some turns to do their thing. Oh, Mechanter Warbeast mana +1. And a lot of buffs. At least has a decent turn of being able to throw down 2 minions. But these minions need some time. This girl in particular needed to survive 1 point of damage, or 1 attack of damage to get some extra growing in. But I got Mechanters after Mechanter. This Apex shows up, but would actually be way better for my opponent with this Juggernaut hanging out. Oh, finally equips his Godhammer. I don't think it would have made much difference earlier, though. Something like Priestesses would have made a difference, or the Huntress. But I got these Lava Slashers and these Mechanters pretty early. Oh, now that Huntress shows up. Oh, and I draw a Blood Tier Alchemist. Don't even give Avocado an extra turn. GG's. And that was the story of how I got a 2-0 over Massive Avocado. Which puts me in a dangerous position, because if we take a look at the bracket again, I'm going to be facing stoicrooster. So, I'm going to see if I can deal with some faults. Maybe some Archeon stuff as well. Yes, indeed. That is it for games. There was one series that was undetermined, but if we go from bottom to top on this, I had advanced against Massive Avocado. stoicrooster advances against kopiuyt. We had Skitter advance versus Fuzzymoth. Agent Cypher advancing versus SzulerShifty. ROHINXO got eliminated or knocked down by The Face. So we'll be seeing The Face go on. Wirox versus venomlovekitties had Game 2 be corrupted. We weren't able to spectate that one. Let's bring that down a bit. But if I check the tapes, if I check the reportings of it, I can see that Wirox had actually defeated venomlovekitties and is advancing. And will be facing The Face. And facing our previous champion, we have MushyMango advancing versus RCrownFlame. And those are our matches. We've also got an entire set of matches in another bracket, because for the first time, we're doing double elim. So we can kind of see how those numbers will match, and I'll have the bracket on challenge updated shortly. Yes, indeed, is the phrase of the day. Because we have gone quite a ways. One funny mix-up for days to come is all the competitors in the lower bracket will be able to start game 1 with either of their 2 decks. Whereas everybody that's still in the upper bracket, their games 1 is going to be with their main deck. And that's all there is to mention for today. Hope you guys had fun. Some really cool games. But I think we are done. GG! Adios all, take care, and bye-bye.